Now, this episode has so many different layers. Okay, y'all been in my comments about where's the recap? Well, here it is. Okay, here it is. Now, okay, at the beginning, okay, already I knew some S was about to happen. Okay, two men stuck in a car together who have not been around each other in a very long time. Okay, where is this gonna go? It's not gonna end well. Okay, and so Jerrod chooses to introduce the fact that he has a boyfriend. Okay, I get it. As a mom myself, you want your children to be in love, you want them to find somebody, but the first picture you show is of your boyfriend getting out of the shower. That's the first picture you show to your cisgender father. Not only that, but he's an elder black man. Black elders do not believe in the whole queerness, gayness. It's already hard for them to accept different relationships. And then you add to it that it's a gay relationship. Okay? Why you do your daddy like that? It reminded me so much that Jerrod is selfish. At the end of the day, it will always be about Jerrod. And this whole episode shows you on so many layers how it's the Jerrod show. A reality show. It's really about him in real life. Okay, we're watching through his own lens, not so much what he wants to show, but this is how he really acts. And so as the episode goes on, it gets worse. Okay, it gets worse. Now, okay, Jerrod is about Jerrod. We've seen it in so many episodes that he's selfish about everyone who's around him. I still don't get why Mike is around. How is it that you keep cheating on Mike and he keeps sticking around? What is going on with that man that he's willing to put up with so much BS from you to be in a relationship? I know Jerrod got money. I know he's famous, but he not up there, A-lister for you to be putting up with some of this BS that you're putting up with. So we move along. They're stuck in this little van thingy together. Whole crew in the van too. Okay, so it's a whole bunch of people in there. They going through these Bojangles and they start having these conversations. Very raw, very real. And it's interesting how Jerrod's like, I pay for a house that I'm not even welcomed in. I. Sometimes there's a space and a time where you're living your truth. You're trying to heal from things. But oftentimes those conversations are going to make people feel uncomfortable. And I understand that as a therapist. Your truth, you trying to work through things is going to make other people in your life feel uncomfortable. But at what point do you try and have a conversation that's like, I know this is going to make you feel uncomfortable. I know it's a very raw conversation, but at the same time, I want to take into account your feelings. I'm not trying to have this conversation out of malicious intent. I'm not trying to come up from a place of just like hurting you. But with Jerrod, it just feels like, I'm going to say what I want to say. I don't care how it makes you feel. I don't care about anybody else. I'm going to do what's best for me. And I get that his parents have hurt him. And being a generational trauma therapist myself, I see a lot of people who are wanting to have conversations with their elders, Black elders, about the trauma, about the things that they have gone through. And a lot of them say they want to have the conversation, but they're scared of how it might make their family member feel. The person isn't going to change, so what's the point? Those are the two main things that I see, and we saw this here. But it just felt like Jerrod didn't really care. He wanted to make his truth known, and I get there's a lot of hurt from him not being accepted. And it's interesting during this conversation, every time he tries to have a very in-depth conversation, similar to Jerrod, his father's a little bit avoidant. You see both of that. They both have that avoidant attachment style. And in a lot of ways, I think Jerrod, as much as he's trying not to become his father, he in some ways is, okay? And we find out later in the episode that Jerrod's father had a whole nother family. And then we're going to get to that because that last scene right there. But he had a whole nother family. And so as he's having this conversation, it's interesting how once again, that fearful avoidant attachment style comes in. Love me, love me, love me. Get close to me. Oh, I'm going to pull back. And the way that Jerrod copes is through these apps. And he gets on Grindr. He's trying to connect and build connection through people on the internet. Okay, relationships, physical intimacy. And knowing that you got a whole ass man. You got a man. Okay, but in this moment, it does not matter because once again, I need my needs fulfilled. I feel maybe rejected, pushed away by my father, but at the same time, I put myself in this situation. I brought up this conversation, not really thinking about how I can't say he didn't think about how his father might feel, but the way it came out was very much, this is my truth, this is what I want to say. And at the end of the day, I pay for the house y'all stay in. That's my money, but y'all won't let me in? Now, was that really necessary, them low blows, to be petty? I don't think so, okay? And as we continue on, we finally get to this pivotal scene at the end, okay? Now, I watched it as a therapist and I watched it as a human, just an individual. The human part of me is like, okay, I see you want to get it all out there. I see you wanting to just talk about it, go there, go deep, put it all out there. But then the other part of me as a therapist, like, was this the time and the place? In front of these cameras to just drag your daddy. That's what he really did. He drugged him, okay? And you see how his father's like, is this going to be on your special? Do we have to do this here and now? Why are you going so deep? And instead of once again reading the room and seeing this is not the time or the place, oh, this is my show. I am paying for this. This is what I want to do. And I don't care who it hurts. And it was sad because you saw his father start to tear up. And in some ways, maybe his father doesn't want to talk about it at all. But to me, it felt like, okay, I don't want to talk about this in front of these strangers, in front of the world. I made some mistakes. I had a second family. And from Jerrod's perspective, yes, I get that you went to school with your siblings and everybody knew that they were your brother or sister and you didn't know. That must hurt a lot. But in front of the cameras on TV is not the place to really be having such a raw conversation. At least like have a pre-production conversation with your father about where this is going to go. But it seems like it came out of nowhere. And their relationship with his parents is already in a place that's not good. And so to make it worse, oh, we're going to have this conversation right now, okay? And I'm sure in a couple episodes, we're going to see him have a conversation with his mama. But it seems to me that at the end of the day, what really matters is my pain, what I want to say, what I want to do, and I have the money to back it up, okay? Now, we're going to have this conversation if you want to keep that house that I can't come in, that I don't feel comfortable in, okay? If you want to keep that, you need to go along with the show. And this is what we're going to do. It comes off very selfish, okay? Now, do I think that Jerrod has an addiction to physical intimacy? I'm not quite sure because once again, I'm not his therapist. I have not sat in a room with him to know the ins and outs and his thought process around being on these apps. I know there's been conversations about him having, an addiction to physical interactions with people. But from the outside, I'm not sure if it's that. I think there is something there. Sometimes I even wonder if he's on the spectrum. He might be neurodivergent because some of the things that he does, the social cues, some of that's very interesting. I would love to know from you guys, do you see some neurodivergency? Do you see some of that stuff in Jerrod? Are people just quick to label him as a narcissist, as an S addict? Do people focus on just the buzzy things and sensational things and not the deeper things going on? But this episode, daddy issues. But at the same time, you have a child who's willing to, I don't know, just kind of do whatever he wants and not think about how this stuff affects other people. The same thing with Jessica, the same thing with Pooh, the same thing with Mike. You see it over and over again. Jerrod is about Jerrod, okay? And I'm wondering what have been some of the repercussions of this show, okay? People who have watched it, friends, people who are close to him, have they really accepted it? Has he had conversations with people? But of course, your girl will always get into it. So let me know your thoughts. We can get into it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.